Morning, guys and girls of the 20-team league. Look, this is a very informative video. You're going to really miss out if you don't watch this video. I know the commissioner can be long-winded at times, but this is important stuff. If you guys are experienced, been in this league, the 20-team league, all of this time, 4, 5, 6 seasons, you understand. You other guys apparently are behind the 8 ball in most cases. This is so important for you to look at. And all of you guys that have been in the league for some time, this is good for you to listen to too, to understand, because you guys are going to be either trading off some of your keepers or not. So this is important for all. Here we go. I hope I hit the screen right. You can expand the screen on the video to see stuff as we are moving through it. This is the main league page I talk about a lot. I try to keep this updated. It's something you should go through and look at every once in a while. It's important to look at. Now, I'm going to go to players right here. And then I'm going to go to all players right here. And then this is all players with the league finish and the scoring, as you can see as I scroll down. This is including the quarterbacks, and you can see the 13th ranked quarterback before there's ever a running back or wide receiver to fall in. This is why it's important as a keeper league to keep your quarterback, but it is not necessary once you get past the top 10 or 12 quarterbacks. Now, my story here is if you want one of these top 12 quarterbacks, you're going to have to go out and get him. The season will close down. The season will close down here in February. Our league will stay absolutely intact when it reopens in June. It'll be just like it is right now. That is when you can trade for draft picks. And that is important for you to start trying to think about what you're going to do already. There's some top, Adrian Rogers right here, Paul has shared the fact that he's willing to trade our Aaron Rodgers for 2 years now. You guys need to be paying attention to that. Decide what it is you're going to do to be able to make that trade if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay up there in the top 10. Look, if you guys think you're going to open up draft on draft night and these players are going to be available, they are not going to be available, guys. You need to make trades and make things happen now. Like in the real world, you may have to sacrifice a lot of draft picks to pick up keepers, but you want to build keepers. These teams that have more than 3 keepers and they're having to decide what 3 keepers they're going to keep, those teams are going to be in divisional races and chance to go to the playoffs and win it all. Some of you guys behind the 8 ball, just like in the real world, you have to build your teams. If you're going to sit on your hands and complain and say, I'll never be there, you're wrong. Because you can sacrifice this year and build keepers, get some good keepers, and other teams may be willing to give them up to enhance their teams in other ways. These are all things that you need to be thinking about. Now, I'm going to take the quarterbacks out of this to show you and explain something to you. We're going to go to flex. Flex includes the tight ends, wide receivers, and running back. That is the first round right there, guys. That is the first round that you see pretty much. The only surprises really were George Kittle and James Conner. Outside of that, these were obvious keepers. You did not see those guys in the draft. If you want one of those guys, you're going to have to go negotiate with these better, stronger teams. Negotiate and get that player. You go down. This is the bottom half. There's 50 per page. This is the bottom half. Everybody owns all these guys, as you can see right now. Some they may keep, some they may not. But this is the bottom half. Of course, Adrian Peterson there, he's probably done, sure. But the rest of these guys are all legitimate keepers. There's Emmanuel Sanders and IR. Jake's not going to let him go. There's Jared Cook right there. Why would you let him go? You just never know what the situation in Oakland is going to be next year. So we get out of the top 50 and then we go to 50 through 100, okay? These guys at 50 through 60 are all potential keepers, guys. All potential keepers, 50 through 70 even. You know, a keeper is what's in your own mind. And again, if you want these guys, you need to be picking them up. Now, here's the first free agents right down here, Hines and Aguilar. They are worth getting on your team. Don't sit on your hands, guys. Go out there and pick these guys up. There's Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley maybe will never be a keeper. There's Mike Davis. Who knows? Tyrell Williams, how he got away from everybody, I don't know. But he's a free agent. Now, the amazing thing is when I go to the next 100 through 150, look who's on the top of this list. There's Leonard Fournette right there. There's Gronkowski. There's Jamal Williams. Moncrief. Christian Kirk is promising, and look at that. He's a free agent. Somebody should be getting him. Kenny Stills, who knows, Miami could still improve even more, and Stills could be significant. Michael Rutz holding on to Connor Cook there. Wisely, been out all season. There's Frank Gore, who's probably done. Chester Rogers actually is, you know, potential keeper. He's probably in his third year. Usually takes that long for wide receivers to mature. You know, there's Rashard Higgins, who's a young guy. Riddick, you know, Jakeem Grant. Why somebody has not picked up this guy, I do not know. He was on fire at the beginning of the season, got hurt early. He's still the 68th ranked wide receiver. So there's Marvin Jones in free agency. Corey Clement, he's kind of been a dud. But you see what I mean. Now I want to go back real quick. I'm going to go back to the first page of this, the top people. And you can see here, I hope I'm getting the points in there on this, but 5.1 for Barkley, who's the best player. You go down to about number 20, you get to 3.6. Those point spreads get smaller and smaller with each round. That being your first round right there, kind of sort of. This being somewhere in your second round. And this being somewhere in your third round of worthy keepers right here, leading off with Marlon Mack and Humphreys. You know, this is the way the season finished out. No one knew who would finish out where, but you got to think in terms of this. And if you're going to build your team, you have to look at trading, guys, trading. There are lots of other bells and whistles here outside of looking at players. You can also go to last and see how they ranked in last. You can go to average. You can click these buttons here, and it ranks players top to bottom, even the percentages over here of their moves that were made, plus minus moves, their improvement. Look at there, there's Dwayne Washington. Why would somebody not just go out and get him and put him on your team and drop your kickers and your DPs? C.J. Anderson's left in free agency. Darren Sproles. You should be picking these guys up. You just never know who's going to beat up whose girlfriend and who's going to get kicked out of the league, who's going to get traded. These guys shouldn't be left. No one should be having a defensive player head coach on their team. And when I see this as a commissioner, I see somebody that's not doing their job. That's honestly what I see. I see someone that is lazy and not doing their job. So without hammering it home anymore, you go to league here. This is the main league page that I speak of so much. It is updated on occasion. It's worth looking at to keep you in the know. This is history right here. This is pretty neat. I'm going to be working on this, Michael Rodriguez and I, to make a magazine of archive history of all of our first 6 seasons. This is great stuff to go back and look at. I think anybody going through this route, hitting history, can see, even if you weren't in the league back then, I think you can see the history going through this link and this route. So with all that said, guys, my time is running out. All I can tell you, look, if you think you're going to get one of these top players sitting on your hands, you're not. You're going to have to negotiate. Draft pick trading will open up in June. I will accept 1 trade per team owner. If you want to get creative beforehand, I would encourage just to wait till after when the league opens up to make those negotiations. I don't mind doing it if you just feel like you must, and we'll keep record of it, and I can explain that. I have exchanged phone numbers with many of you guys. It's much easier to explain things by phone than by text. It's impossible almost by text. So if you want to discuss with the commissioner, I'll be glad to do that. I'm all about each and every one of you doing the best you can do, understanding how to do the best you can do to build your team. There's no crying in baseball, and there's no room for complaining here when your team is not as good as you would like it to be. Yes, maybe next year your team will not be as good as you like it to be, but it will be better. And then the next year, it will not be as good as you'd like it to be, but it will be better. Before you know it, you've won a divisional title. So this is the way it works in the real world. This is the way it's going to work here. But if you think you're going to sit on your hands and you're going to keep all these defensive players and all this stuff, and you're going to leave the draft early, you're never going to make it in this league, in this 20-team league. 16-team league, guys, little bit easier. Still important to drop those ancillary players, pick up players you think are potential keepers, build your poker hand, get ready when the software opens back up. There will be draft pick trading. I have a State of the League address coming. It's going to be very important too. So stay tuned for that, 7 to 10 days. Have a great day.